The events of the film begin in the hospital, where a girl named Matilda was born. However, her parents, Harry and Zinnia, showed no joy at her birth, as they had hoped for a boy. Her father placed her in the car next to their other son, then drove recklessly toward home. When they arrived, they forgot to take her out of the car. Despite this, Matilda had exceptional abilities from an early age. At the age of 1, she started writing, but her parents didn't notice because they were uninterested in her. Over time, she became independent in dressing herself. Every morning, her brother Michael would go to school, and her father would go to work, while her mother would go to play bingo. Matilda enjoyed spending time alone, preparing food and reading the newspaper, even though she hadn't started school yet. One night, Matilda asked her father to buy her a book to read. He ignored her request and told her to watch television. At that moment, Matilda realized that she was different from her family and that she had to strive to get what she wanted on her own. So she went to the library and asked the librarian to lend her some books. The librarian was surprised because she hadn't expected a girl her age to ask for books. However, the librarian told her she could take the books home whenever she wanted. Matilda grew up with a love for reading. She didn't care about playing like other kids. Instead, she found joy in books. But her father didn't like this and thought she was too young to read. When she told him she was 6 and should be in school, he went to her mother to ask about her age. She said she was 4.5, which made Matilda sad. She ran to her room and cried. One day, Harry asked his son to calculate the sum of his profits. Quickly, Matilda calculated the sum and gave it to him. Harry suspected that she had looked at the paper and scolded her. That night, Matilda sneaked into her father's room and put dye in the oil he used. The next morning, before he left for work, Harry applied some oil to his head and discovered that the color of his hair had changed. Zinnia was surprised by the situation, but Matilda was very pleased. Harry decided to take Michael and Matilda with him to work. He placed stolen spare parts in the car, which was noticed by the 2 policemen who were monitoring his movements. In the workshop, Harry illegally repaired old cars and sold them as new. Matilda didn't like this and objected, saying it was against the law. But Harry didn't appreciate her comment and told her not to interfere in his business. She decided to get back at him by putting glue in his cap. When Zinnia told everyone that she had won a bingo contest and invited them to a restaurant, Harry wore his cap and they all went to the restaurant. Upon arrival, he tried to remove his cap but failed, so Zinnia helped him, causing a commotion in the restaurant. This made Matilda very happy, and she enjoyed her meal. Another day, while they were watching television, Matilda was engrossed in reading a book, which angered Harry. He tore the book and told her to watch television. Matilda got extremely angry and smashed the television, which astonished everyone. Another day, the school principal, Miss Trunchbull, came to Harry to buy a car. He asked her to enroll his daughter in school, which made Matilda very happy. The next day, Matilda went to school, and when she arrived, she was surprised by the appearance of the school, which was an old, dilapidated building, unlike what she had expected. However, she was excited to attend school. At school, Matilda met Lavenda and Hortensia, who told her that one of the students had eaten the principal's cake, and Miss Trunchbull had thrown him out of the window. They also told her that the principal liked throwing the discus and shot put, and had thrown a girl named Amanda because of her braids. The teacher, Miss Honey, was very kind, but behind her smile, she hid a deep sadness. Miss Honey introduced Matilda to the other students and asked them to treat her kindly. Miss Honey started reviewing the multiplication table, and everyone responded except Matilda, who gave the correct answer to a much bigger number. Miss Honey was amazed by Matilda's intelligence. Miss Honey went to tell Miss Trunchbull that Matilda had extraordinary intelligence and should be moved to a higher level, which angered Miss Trunchbull, who claimed she wanted to get rid of Matilda because she was a troublesome girl, as her father had told her. She then expelled Matilda. When Matilda returned home, she saw the two policemen in front of their house, but didn't care. She told her mother about her day at school, but her mother was too busy talking on the phone. At night, Miss Honey went to Matilda's house and told her parents about the intelligence their daughter had. But they didn't care about what she said. In contrast, Matilda was very happy. Miss Honey left her a book to read and left. The next day, Miss Trunchbull called all the students to the assembly and singled out one of them, accusing him of eating her cake. She decided to punish him immediately by making him eat a huge cake. The boy began eating but couldn't finish it. Matilda and the other students encouraged him until he finished the cake. Miss Trunchbull was furious and decided to punish everyone by making them stay 5 extra hours after school. When Matilda returned home, she noticed the policemen were at the house again. She told her parents, but they didn't believe her and asked her to go to bed. The next day, Matilda went to play with her friends in the forest, where they caught a salamander and put it in a glass box. Miss Trunchbull arrived and punished Matilda, claiming that her father had deceived her and sold her a fraudulent car. Then, Miss Trunchbull went to the class where the students started hiding their colorful projects. Meanwhile, Miss Honey opened a girl's braids and noticed that Matilda was absent, and Lavenda told her that Matilda was being punished. Miss Honey rushed to rescue her and brought her back to class. Miss Trunchbull drank the water that Lavenda had put the salamander in, which terrified her. She accused Matilda of trying to poison her. In a fit of rage, Matilda dropped the glass, and the salamander got stuck to the principal's clothes, making her the subject of ridicule. Matilda told Miss Honey that she had done it and tried to fix it, but couldn't. On their way home, Matilda passed by Miss Trunchbull's house and was told by Miss Honey about her difficult past. She explained that she had lost her mother at the age of 2, and her father brought in an aunt to take care of her, Miss Trunchbull, who was very cruel to her. When she was 5, her father passed away, and she was forced to live in a small cottage far from her harsh treatment. Miss Honey added that Miss Trunchbull had even prevented her from taking pictures of her father and kept her from having her doll. Matilda told Miss Honey that she should take her things from home, which impressed Miss Honey. They then watched Miss Trunchbull practice the shot put, and when she left, they snuck into her house. Inside, they saw a box of chocolates that the principal had denied herself. Suddenly, they heard Miss Trunchbull talking to Mr. Harry about the car, and they forgot to close the box before going upstairs. When Miss Trunchbull discovered the box, she realized someone had snuck into her house and started looking for them. Miss Honey told Matilda to exit through the back kitchen door while she distracted the principal. As Miss Trunchbull neared discovering Matilda, Miss Honey made a noise to draw the principal's attention, allowing her to move away from the door. Thus, Miss Honey saved Matilda and herself. When they returned home, Matilda saw her mother sitting with the policemen who were conducting advertisements. When Harry entered, asked who the people were. Matilda told him they were policemen. Harry got angry and started yelling at her, causing her to close the door in his face. At that moment, Matilda discovered that her true power came from her anger. She began practicing lifting things and enjoyed it immensely. When she opened the curtains, she saw the policemen searching inside the house. She told them she wouldn't allow them to search without permission. She then moved the car and took the tape from them, throwing it into the trash. One night, Matilda went to Miss Trunchbull's house, where she used her power to retrieve the doll through the window. She also swapped the principal's picture with one of Miss Honey's father, Mr. Magnus. She then manipulated the electrical wires and clock hands, which made Miss Trunchbull feel terrified and run away. When Matilda descended, her hair clip fell, and Miss Trunchbull discovered it, realizing that someone had snuck into her house. The next morning, Matilda returned the doll to Miss Honey. Suddenly, Miss Trunchbull announced her visit to the class. Here, Matilda showed Miss Honey her ability to move things by lifting a bowl in front of her, which made Miss Honey believe her. At the same time, Miss Trunchbull was searching for the girl who lost her hair clip and discovered that Matilda had done it. She decided to punish her, but Matilda, with her power, started writing a message on the board in the name of Magnus, asking Miss Trunchbull to give her house and money to her daughter, or else he would take revenge. She then hit her with the mop, causing Miss Trunchbull to fall to the ground. She ran away in her car and left the town, never to be seen again. Miss Honey returned to her home, and Matilda started visiting her daily. One day, Matilda's parents came to take her to another town before the police could arrest them. But Matilda refused to go with them and pulled out an adoption paper she had found in a library book, asking them to sign it. Her parents agreed to sign without hesitation. Thus, Matilda began to live with Miss Honey in a life full of happiness, love, and care, things she had never received from her parents, who had never appreciated her intelligence. Miss Honey became the new principal of the school, and Matilda's life began anew, full of joy and tranquility. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more movie summaries.